Good morning, good afternoon, and happy Tuesday. Today was an insane day, and I'm going to break down my entire penny stock trading strategy. This thing was incredible today on EVTV. Played it 6 times for profit today from the open all the way up into the high of day here, going into 10 o'clock this morning, and just kept on giving back-to-back opportunities. Now we're going to break down every single trade from this morning because this was not it. I also played SKYQ, also played AZI. But of course, EVTV was the main runner today. So let's go ahead and break it down one by one. We're going to start with the pre-market watch list here, which as you can see, I was watching EVTV, AZI, ELAB, and TMDE. Now, only 2 of these met criteria today, and it was AZI and EVTV. ELAB never did anything. And it was a great look, and I'll start with these as well. Back here in pre-market on ELAB, this was up this morning because it had that 1-for-4 reverse split. And so this ran big this morning, and I was watching it to see if it wanted to get back up over VWAP out of market open. Play it back here on the reclaim if it got breaking out, and look for the move back up into the previous high. Now, for one, the reason why this didn't make a move is because, for one, we had the 20 moving average right here at 10 bucks, so right there above the opening price. And we also had the fact that this was only up this morning because of that 1-for-4 reverse split. So there wasn't really anything to hold this thing up. Especially when you have far better setups out there. Who's going to circle back to this? This wasn't the obvious stock today, so it just never set up. And so then we had ZI, which I'm break even on today. And this was also a bit odd because a couple of weeks back, whenever the Chinese theme was hot, we had HXHX, HIHO, AZI. We had an incredible trade in AZI a couple weeks back. I'll show you here. This is a couple weeks back. Look at this trade on AZI. And it traded, it was such a clean trading setup. And I played it from 197 all the way to the 220s. And I was like, all right, so this is nice. And I actually have 2 recordings from this from weeks back. And so this thing was super nice. And so I'm expecting it to trade similarly today. Well, it's traded clean in the past. Maybe it's going to trade clean again too. And it wasn't the case. And so I tried to play it here. As you can see here, I'm going to draw it so you can actually see what I was looking at here. We had these lower highs overhead. And we had this sort of a level of support form there from pre-market. So I'm watching here. And so I'm watching here as it reclaims the 9 and 20 EMAs. I'm looking to see, okay, well, price tries to break back above here, as you can see. And you can see I keep trying to take these pullbacks to get the leg back up into this previous range, right? Because I'm wanting to get back up in here into the top of this range, top of this channel. And of course, we don't get that. And so I keep trying, and I try it twice. And so I take it the first time, I see it doesn't follow through. I tried a second time off the pullback after it gets bought up here. And again, as you can see, I just don't get the move. And so I take a full exit over. I'm flat on the trade. I have a loss and I've got to win. And from there, I just leave it alone. Because here's the fact now. It tries to make the move here and it fails. And so now I know we have sellers all through here. So I can't play it here. It tries to break out then later. But then the issue with that is we have heavy overhead supply all up through this price range. And this is on the daily chart. Where you look at the daily time frame. And we have these lower highs stacked here. Look at this. And so it broke the 50 moving average, but at the same time, you're running up into these past lower highs. You can't fight trend. And so I'm like, all right, well, if this breaks the high of day, it's probably going to reject and fake you out. And so what did it do? Big move up through the high of day and instantly just rejects and makes a move back lower. And so just left this thing alone. It just traded like crap today, really. Moving on from that, of course, we already looked at ALAB. We're going to look back at EVTV now. This thing was huge. And so EVTV today was nice. It was on the pre-market watch list as well. As you can see, the game plan here was to watch EVTV today over 61 cents, then off 56 for the range 73. Now, of course, the game plan here is to watch it off of 56. And so toss that 56 there, and you're going to say, oh, where'd the 56 come from? And so what I was actually looking for here, we look at this here. What we have here is we have these lower highs going into market open. So we have, again, this high from top pre-market shortly after 8 a.m., putting in place this really tight wedge going into market open. We got these higher lows and we have these lower highs. All right, so I know I've got to get breaking out over those highs. And so the initial plan here was to watch for the break of this most recent high, just like this here. And so I was going to watch it. It worked out actually both ways. And I even got an ad, which you can sort of see hiding behind the candle here, where I'm looking at this past area of supply formed where I want to see a break over this recent high. Let me draw this back here so you can see what I'm doing. And so I wanted to see a break of this past high here, this most recent high. Watch for confirmation of that higher high to confirm that structure has flipped to the upside. Then watch for the confirmed higher low off the pullback on the retest of VWAP, which it worked out quite well. And so I took the first entry here. Mind you, a little bit anticipatory. A higher risk entry here because I saw buyers stepping out of the gate. This candle pulls back to retest off the 90 MA and gets bought up again, so I take it for the break higher. Thankfully, it worked out. So broke the ice in a good way there. Was able to take profits up into the highs there. And that first move, as you can see, was this move here from 56 to about 63 cents. And so after price breaks over this past time, watching those pullbacks, and as you can see, hiding behind this little red flag, I took a buy there. And I added back on the breakout higher. Now, I added back with a stop loss, of course, risking off of VWAP now for the range back up through the highs per the pre-market watch list plan, because the watch list plan was Watch the break of 61 for the range of 73 and $1. And what did we get today? Well, look at this here. So we had that 73-cent level marked right overhead. And so I was able to play it here off the pullbacks again. So overall, I played it here from 56 to start all the way to 74 cents. Now, I took a full exit because we had the pre-market high stacked up here off the 73-cent area, or really 74 cents. And so as it breaks this high, look at this here. This is my exit system every single time. It tries to break the high here. I think it failed a halt band. But anyway, it fails to halt or just rejects off the high. Nonetheless, no different. And so it rejects underneath the high. And I'm looking at that point. I took a full exit. I'm watching pullbacks because I wanted to see, is this going to hold and give you nice pullback opportunities? And it actually did. It gave you some nice pullback opportunities where I was able to take these pullbacks off the 90 MA. You can see here, took it off the 90 MA back up into the highs. Then we have the next move here where we have this candle breaking that, again, previous lower high. Again, it breaks to the highs, instantly rejects, take a full exit again, as you can see here. Nasty wick off the high. And then the next big setup comes along. And what I have right now is, check this out. I've got this 1 minute low, so I've got these lower lows put in place here. So I see price pull back and put in place a double bottom right here. And so as it puts in place this double bottom, check this out. Double bottom off of VWAP, look at this. We've got VWAP and the 50 EMA right here beneath price. And we have these lower highs confirming this sort of megaphone pattern, which you can see here if I draw this for you. We've got these higher highs and lower lows, so this almost megaphone pattern giving me range back to the upside. So I take it here with a stop loss underneath these past lows under VWAP. And so again, I'm taking it here at 67, risking off of 62 for the range back to 75 and 80 cents. Right? So great setup. And so I'm able to play this quite well. Again, high conviction setup, beautiful price action, super easy to get good reads on. And so again, I take it here on the confirmed double bottom, risking off this past low. As price confirms back over the 90 EMA, look at this. So price breaks back over the 9 and 20 EMA, pivots higher over this past high, where I've raised my stop loss and got an add here. Look at this, got an add here at 70 cents. Stop loss goes at the bottom of this most recent candle to ensure it does follow through higher. And got the next leg. And as you can see, got the next leg back up into this past area of supply, which we knew was sitting right up here based on this past wick off the high. So this past wick off the high leads to us knowing this is an area of sellers, or what we call overhead supply. And so now it gives me an idea of what I can expect here in terms of price action as we move to the upside. It's going to be a little bit heavy. Going to see sellers start to come in. So again, I was able to take a pullback here. We have this past area. Look at this here, where it breaks, pulls back off the 90 MA. Look for that break higher. And so again, played it here, as you can see, from 73 back to 79 up into that previous high of day. As it again, like I said, per my exit strategy, it breaks this high here. Look at this. It breaks the high, instantly rejects. I only had runners left, so I was trying to give it a chance. And of course, got the rest stopped out above my entry. And so all things said there, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 overall profitable entries on this morning on EVTV. This thing was so fruitful, so opportune. And of course, one structure flipped off the highs here where we see it puts in place this megaphone pattern as it breaks structure here. Right, it breaks structure right here, it breaks to the backside, as you can see. This is where we leave the setup alone for the rest of the morning because you're just fighting trend to the backside. So this was the main setup here. As it breaks down, she's done. Leave it alone. That was nice. Then we had SKYQ this morning, was also a pretty good setup. And it was an interesting one. Another penny stock play. Penny stocks are hot this week, as it seems. And so here we have, look at this. We have these highs stacked here. We have this high to this swing high. And so I sort of recognize, and so I see this previous high of day sitting back here underneath 50 cents. And so I also see we have the 9 and 20 EMA stacked here as well. So it gives you a perfect little pullback opportunity. Price pulls back. I take it off this past candle's low, which was also, look at this. So we have support here in line with this past candle's low. We have the 90 EMA. We have VWAP. And we had range up into the 200 moving average on the daily chart, which gave us room here to about 55, 56 cents. So this is a fairly simple setup. You can also see we had the previous high of day back here around 44 cents. And so you have this nice confluence. You have the break of this previous high of day, looking for those pullbacks for the retest of the 200 moving average. And of course, as we rejected off the high of day, took my full profit. So that was a pretty simple setup. There's not a whole lot to explain, but little 90 MA pullback, in which, of course, as price moves higher, just trailing off the 1 minute candle lows. And that's it. That sums up the whole morning right there. That was the morning. Today was definitely hot. EVTV was definitely opportune. I had a great time trading that thing today. Thankfully, the market is heating back up after the new year. Yesterday was pretty slow. Not a whole lot of opportunities. There was stuff moving, but there wasn't the right stock. Today, we actually had the right stock, thankfully. So, great day today. If you did learn a thing or two from this video, make sure to subscribe for daily content just like this. And as always, make sure to grab your 7-day free trial down in the description below. That way you can actually trade alongside me every single morning in real time and get alerts, education, chat room access, watch list, journals, momentum AI, and so much more. Let me know in the comments below how your day was, and I will see you next time.